Hi, we're going to paint a winter scene today. Hopefully a scene that you'll enjoy painting and you can use as a Christmas card or a Christmas decoration or something just to cheer your house up in the winter. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint our sky. And we've got a nice bright blue on the palette. So we start in the top right hand corner and just a nice wiggly hill down to the left, lots of clear water, and then we're taking our blue and we're just dropping it on in the top right hand corner and letting it spread. So I'm putting lots of just paint on really, dropping it into the water, and then we'll pick the paper up and we'll run it to get a nice soft sky effect. I'm using postcard watercolour paper. It comes in a pad, but you can use any paper that will take watercolour and cut it to fit the size of your greetings card, and then you could just stick it on the front. I'm adding more water and I'm going to add a tiny little bit of purple just to get it really dark on this side because we want the trees to really show up. I'm just going to take the paint a little bit further into the corners here. And also I want it to come sort of right down here. Okay, let's keep that running. And you just hold the paper vertically on all axes to let it do its thing. I'm hoping to get it darker in the top right hand corner, so I'm going to concentrate on keeping the paint running around on that side. While the paint is still wet, I'm going to take some clean kitchen roll and just dab out a few clouds. Perhaps over these places where I had some water missing. Not too many because we don't want it too light. And then keep it running. And you can use a hairdryer to speed up the drying process. Okay, so that's dry. So now I'm going to put in the snow, which is this lilac pale purple. Again, starting to the right, our composition is got this movement from the right hand side down the hill. There's the water, a little bit of purple. I want it darker in the opposite corner here. So I put my little bit of purple there, and then I'm going to do the same technique and let it run. Probably a little bit more wobbly. Take it up near the top, a little bit more colour here. Just let that run around. Okay. Now we're going to put in our trees. Now we're going to use a mixture of the blue and purple to get these dark pine trees. And if you notice, they're all more or less the same size going down the slope of the hill. So I don't want too much water. I want my brush quite dry. Got my blue here. I'm going to pop my purple into it. Is that quite dark? It is. And I'm going to dry my brush on the kitchen roll. And then I'm going to make these triangle effects. So I'm going to start here. Up to about here. And another one. Not a regular distance between them, but try and keep them more or less the same height. Have a little bit of fun. With a really dry brush, I've just dabbed it on the kitchen roll. I'm going to put a few in the background. It's a little bit too dry. And then I'm going to take a little bit of blue and do these vertical lines. So just a few little sort of indications of some kind of other trees in the background if you wish, maybe a few bushes. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of a tree trunk, very fine, at the bottom of each one. And then perhaps put a few odd ones in behind, not necessarily attached to any trees, just so it looks like there's a few more. Okay, so now I need to wait for that to dry. So I'm going to have a look at the berries. Now you can do all sorts of things with the berries. Here's a different one I did. You know, just have a little bit of fun. This is your bright pink or red. And this is just a circle. I'm doing two at a time, so in the foreground here. This one there. Above a bit perhaps. A little one here. Just to give your painting a little bit more sparkle. While the paint's still wet, I'm going to take a little bit of my blue and I'm just going to drop it along the bottom. Little line there. And then we need to join the berries up. Now if you've got brown, by all means use brown, or you can use a little bit of purple and blue with a little bit of the red. And a little bit of the green. And I'm going to join the berries up so they're attached. So just very quick, fine semicircles. And then I'm going to attach them to a branch. So just you can just put a branch in of any nature really. Join those two up, join that to that branch perhaps. Okay. And then I'll put the leaves in. I've got some green on my palette, which is unusual because normally we make green out of blue and yellow. but just for speed, we're going to just not paint in leaves, just as the berries meet the branch, it just holds the berries on. And you may want to just add a couple of leaves at the ends of your branches. Maybe something like that. That's okay. If my berries are dry, I'm going to go back to my branch colour and just put a little place where the stems might meet them. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is the snow. Now, we're going to use white acrylic for the snow because it's very bright and impactful. If you don't have that, try with your white watercolour or a white pastel or something like that. I've got a different brush because you should never use your watercolour brushes for acrylic. So I've just dampened the brush. I'm showing it to the acrylic, getting nice and gooey. And then we're going to do the same technique that we did before with the trees, starting with the brush on its side. I'm going on the left-hand side of every tree to look like the wind has blown the snow up the slope. So I'm starting at the top here. I'm just going to dab on the white. And you can see now how impactful it is to have a nice dark blue sky, because it really makes the snow on the tree sparkle. It's quite thick, the paint. I haven't put any water with it. And I'm going to add a tiny bit to the trees at the back. Just following that triangle shape if you can. You don't have to be too precise. Okay, so those are our snowy trees, and I'm just going to put a little bit of snow on my berries. I think they're dry. Just near the top. And maybe on the, show it to the leaves a bit. Along the top of the branch. And the very last thing I'm going to put in is some shadow under the trees. Just some shadow here to ground those tree trunks. You can leave them. I'm going to use the blue. Just a wobbly line. Maybe a little bit of shadow there at the back. And there's your winter scene. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'd love to see the results. If you want to post them on Penny's Paintings, let me know how you got on. Any more ideas for tutorials you've got, just let me know. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.